Warning, the voices heard in this video are made synthetically using artificial intelligence. Nothing in this video reflects anything actually stated by the real-life individuals involved. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and serious political content will be avoided for that purpose. Enjoy!
Donald's digging deeper and drinking dirty with the Dalish. Welcome back, viewers. I'm back at the Dalish camp for a few hijinks that Barack missed last episode.
Yeah, I was admittedly half rushing because I knew it would be an hour by the time I reached Anaran, so I really only picked up the side quests I knew we would encounter on the path there. Though I also knew I wanted to leave some content for you, Donald, so take it how you will, boys.
Well, looks like you're starting off on the right path by adding more felony counts, Big Dog, and over a book, even though we know you can't read, Donald.
I read better than your father clearly did when he was reading the condom instructions, you accident baby bitch.
Damn shots fired?
Daddy, please.
Anyways, now that I got my lick in, I figured we would hear some more backstories from the C-tier NPCs. Although hearing this girl's voice, I am suddenly channeling an alternate version of myself, where I want to endlessly simp for her and protect her from an equally horny simp version of Joe. Also, why does it smell like nuclear fire in here?
You know, hearing her voice has me craving violence. And the color blue for some goddamn reason, I can't figure why.
All right, boys, that's probably too on the nose now. However, Lanaya is probably the strongest written character in the camp. And it also helps that Mass Effect fans can immediately recognize her voice actor. Lanaya was not born into the Dalish, and was instead born into a family that were servants to traveling merchants. These merchants were attacked by bandits, who captured Lanaya and used her in every sense of the word for years as a slave.
Jesus Christ, why is every human dude's first reaction to an elf girl S.A.? Someone get me the damn pliers.
Gotta put the dark in dark fantasy somehow. Still, I wouldn't mind bringing some freedom curb stomps to those pricks.
Well, no need. The bandits happened to pick a fight with Zatharin's clan and killed one of his scouts. He pulled up, wanting all the smoke, and killed every single bandit in that camp himself. When he saw Lanaya, he felt so bad for her that he took her back to the clan and raised her as Dalish. She faced a lot of prejudice, not being a natural-born Dalish herself, but she overcame this by working twice as hard as her clanmates and eventually became beloved by her new people. She is, in a sense, the perfect Dalish leader to bridge the gap between humans and Dalish, since she was born among humans and yearns for a sense of understanding between humans, but she is still respected by the Dalish in the same light. This reflects in the ending, where if Lanaya is appointed keeper, she helps keep the peace between the Dalish and neighboring human settlements.
Yeah, how nice. I'm sure Zatharin's bloodthirst against humans won't come back up later to bite us in the ass.
We can ask her about Zatharin's history, but it's a pretty high speech check. And we are going to hear about it further into the main quest anyway.
True, that speech check is also one of the several small effects that is impacted by the camp approval system I mentioned last episode. If we have high approval by helping everyone, this speech check can be incredibly easy.
Looks like we can have some fun with some cut content. Let's send her away for a moment, shall we?
Donald, why you gotta trick them for the book?
Because I don't want anyone telling me what I can or can't do. I'm the hero, damn it. And clearly our guy has mild kleptomania. What is this book anyway?
You stole it without knowing what it is, Donald.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. Please enlighten me with your demented knowledge.
Man, I don't know. Who do I look like? Obama?
How did I get wrapped up into this? Anyway, yes, Donald, this is cut content added by the Restoration mod, link in the description, in the base game of Origins. The only way to get the songbook is to grab it in stealth or wait until the main quest of the Dalish camp is finished. The songbook adds a song in the Elvish tongue called In Uthanera. The basic translation gives the impression it's about an Elven elder being laid to rest while their clan spends one more day with them before their passing. However, Uthanera has a very different meaning, as it's the Elvish word for immortal. The practice of Uthanera, as we learn later on in Trespasser, involved elves going into long periods of sleep to explore the Fade. While their bodies may eventually wither, they would not fully die, as they would be able to wander the Fade in search of knowledge. Some elves in Uthanera, however, were able to reach perfection and draw sustenance from the Fade, rather than dying in their sleep This likely formed what the Dalish know as the Elven pantheon. Obviously, Solis was in the state of Uthernera before we meet him in Inquisition, as we can tell how often he explored the Fade. However, when Solis created the Veil, Uthernera was no longer an effective way to put those to rest, as it required far more magical power and lyrium to perform this ritual. Still, there are examples of elves attempting this process even at the time of the Tevener Imperium, though its success is unknown.
So this songbook is like crazy relevant to the plot of Trespasser and Veilguard.
The power of retroactive continuity is strong with BioWare.
This is the first mention of Uthernera in the series, aside from a brief mention of it in the Dalish elf origin. Albeit, Donald, you have a point. There's no way they knew how relevant this was going to be at the time. But I hope you all learned something. The Elven lore is incredibly deep and fascinating, and we will have more yaps about it than most other lore facts.
Well, while you were yapping, I've been turning in all the side quests in camp, mainly just Commander Shepard and the Merchant. Hopefully they are more trusting of us now and not just passive-aggressive assholes.
That's one way to look at it. The other way is that the Dalish are not trusting and are going to be hesitant of you until you prove you're not a threat first.
Typical elf simp.
Well, speaking of simps, let's move on to one of the biggest ones with the most versatile quest in the camp, shall we?
Well, I'm trying too. I try to give Bro some solid advice on how to up his grind, and he's treating me like I killed his cat. Stop wanting to be a hunter and be a hunter. It's not that hard.
Sort of a visualize where you want to be, and you will already be there type of deal. I can respect it.
Okay, how is this dude not passed his hunter exam yet? You live in the woods where animals are everywhere, but somehow you haven't even killed one yourself. Either do it or pick a new job.
Well, to be fair, this forest is pretty dangerous for a non-warden, plenty of Sylvans, blood mages, and werewolves to worry about. That being said, how has Bro not killed a boar or a wolf? After all this time, he's definitely a grown-ass man.
I've seen rednecks in real life wrestle a boar down with their bare hands. You're telling me a fantasy dude who's trained all his life can do the same?
Well, let's see if he can explain why he has a lack of nuts.
I guess his mental has been boomed.
Oh, damn, boys, what an immaculate smell in front of us.
Joe, you're just saying that because she is a young redhead.
Degeneracy aside, Bro, really should just man up and step up to the plate. Either she accepts you or she doesn't. But sitting aside from afar doesn't get anything done, and isn't fair to either of you.
Yes, good advice, Obama. And of course, my good man, you and all the viewers watching should absolutely put your faith into 3 dudes who spend their free time making Dragon Age lore drops and gooning out to fantasy women.
Bro is maidenless.
Well, let's bring out our Major League Riz, shall we, boys?
To help him right, Donald?
Oh, of course, Barack, I have every intention to help myself. Camprin.
Donald, that wasn't even his name.
Excuse me, milady, but could you perhaps try on this chantry robe and sing me a tune? It's important presidential business.
Joe, do you just ask every redhead that question while sniffing them?
No comment.
Excuse me, young lady, but this level 1 crook called you cringe and that you could never be his little PogChamp. However, I would like to inform you that I not only have a Grey Warden trust fund, but I also have 10 million power.
First of all, what in the 2023 were those memes, Donald? And secondly, what the hell are you doing? You know Morrigan is right in front of you.
Well, you see, Morrigan's daily returns have been lacking recently, so I'm diversifying in some short-term stocks to create liquid assets for my Trump Tower.
Sounds perfect to me.
Just the 2 of us, you mean? You are not alone.
Banging in a cart in the middle of the camp in broad daylight is devilish work.
I suppose there's no harm in it. We could talk in one of the Aravels.
See, my beloved Morrigan was okay with it. As long as it was a short-term fling with chaotic results, she's into it. I thought Wynn was supposed to approve, though.
In this base game, there's a glitch that causes her to approve of sleeping with Gaina, for some reason leading to a few memes, but the restoration mod we have must have fixed that glitch. So yeah, we just took a massive approval hit there, but we can still recover, no worries. You're still a chaotic prick. Though, Donald, for messing with these guys.
Oh, bite me. I couldn't resist making an actual NPC sit in the cuck chair. This was only going to end one way.
Where is Bro going?
Running into the haunted forest because your crush got pounded by a random dude is crazy work.
Well, now that we had our humanity restored by blowing some backs, let's go do the next gravesite for the Mage's Treasure Quest. Viewers, make sure you look at last episode to see which grave you're supposed to go to first. And then you go back to the first area of the forest and tackle this gravestone next for those of you following along.
Well, while we have some combat left to get through, Donald, do you have a comment question prepped for us?
You bet I do. I was cooking this one up since last episode based on our conversation about the Sylvans. But considering we still have more to fight now, it's still relevant. So viewers, what enemy from any of the previous Dragon Age games do you think was forgotten about and that you would like returned in the next generation game? For me, I would really like to see the werewolves from this game return, but with updated animations and abilities would be really cool. Their overwhelm ability in Veilguard could work like a Warwick ult where they lunge at you and you have to block or dodge it or take heavy damage. Werewolves in lore would be very thematic for Veilguard, considering how many spirits are bound to flood into the world with the Veil Tear. It would be reasonable that some may take over animals, and that there would be heavy cases of lycanthropy hell. We could even bring it back to Ferelden and dive further into the tie between werewolves and Ferelden history. Plus, the more dogs, the better, am I right, boys?
Valid take. Donald werewolves would be really cool. However, I had a different direction in mind for my choice. I would have to give it to my beloved Sylvans. They are again a thematic choice, as many spirits are flooding into the world at the time of Veilguard. But we could not only see smaller spirits possessing the Sylvans, but we could see more powerful spirits take control of trees and have more interactions like the rhyming tree up ahead. Also, as we described from last episode, the Sylvans have a very unique form of combat in Origins, being able to root and knock back the team with ease and being immune to many forms of crowd control. And seeing these abilities in Veilguard, where we would have to dodge abilities from these hulking behemoths, would be really memorable, and their stealth capabilities would be improved, seeing how it would be easier to animate them as looking like normal trees before contorting out as the enemy. Might be a long shot, but that has been on my wish list since Dragon Age 2 came out, being honest.
Oh, hell yeah. I wanted the Sylvans to pop up in Sunder Mount, but they sadly didn't have enough time in the development cycle. Anyways, my choice for an enemy returning would have to be the Ghasts from Mark of the Assassins.
What the hell are ghasts, your old ass trying to say ghosts?
Oh, right, you never played any of the DLC in 2, Donald. They are goblin-like enemies from the second DLC in 2.
Oh, okay, lame choice, and you're a bitch for choosing that, Joe.
Whatever, eat my ass. Anyways, I want the Ghasts to come back because I feel like they were shown to us and then immediately forgotten about after they appeared. Not only do they look like silly little guys and attack in packs by coming out of the ground, but they also can possess magic, and their hierarchy appoints their mages as leaders, similar to shamans for goblins. I think diving a little deeper into how they can utilize magic would be a really cool lore point in the game, as unlike a lot of enemies, the Ghasts seem to possess some form of intelligence similar to the Darkspawn. Plus, they always give me Hope vibes from Fable, and that's just a massive W.
All right, well, except for Joe referencing that shit game, good choices, boys and viewers. Let us know what forgotten enemy you want to see in Veilguard. According to some interviews by the developers, they are promising plenty of diverse enemies. So if one of your suggestions gets added when we see it in the Veilguard playthrough, we could even shout out your comment from this episode when we see it. And speaking of shout outs, Obama Mind, showing our featured comment from last episode.
With pleasure, Donald. Our featured comment comes from TidyGamer21, who gave us the most left field response, saying that the Darkspawn messenger sent by the Architect during the Amaranthian invasion is his favorite companion. Mainly just featured this one since it's so left field of an answer that I don't think any of us expected it. So props for creativity, and can't wait to see that creativity with today's question. Also, we just wanted to shout out that our viewer base seems to lean very heavily towards Morrigan and Varric as their favorite overall, which is probably good considering how we have a tier 3 Morrigan simp among us.
Well, with the shout out made, let's turn our attention back to the wordsmith himself, and one of the top 5 people Eminem is afraid to diss my boy Rhyming Tree. Barack, I know you have plenty to say about his voice actor.
I could talk about his voice actor all day. Honestly, Donald, His voice actor, Fred Tatasciore, also voices Swiftrunner in this game, but I guarantee viewers, if you have played almost any other video game besides just Dragon Age, you have heard his voice talent before. He voices Saren from Mass Effect, he voices the Brutes from Halo, the Tank from Left 4 Dead, and Mordekaiser from League of Legends that's just off the top of my head. There's plenty more. He is just everywhere, and it's peak. He is super underrated.
Well, while it's disturbing that Saren, the spokesperson for the Reapers in Mass Effect, is now just chilling in the forest, spitting rhymes, I am glad we sided with him against the crazy old man. Now we can get his stick and get to the next part of the forest when we are ready. Also considering he isn't violent like every other Sylvan. I wonder if he is a spirit of rhyming or something quirky like that.
Reunited with my seed. This cannot pass without reward. I shall give what little I can afford. Keep this branch of mine with thee.
Yeah, the concept of the Grand Oak is definitely something ripped from a Sunday night D&D session, and it adds to the charm of Dragon Age overall.
Speaking of D&D, Barack, do we still have that special feature? We have one last thing before we should continue the plot.
You got it, Joe. We'll text him now. Viewers, get ready for something different.
Thy winter's kind, and thy roots be strong.
Welcome to Impromptu D&D with your Dungeon Master, George. Let's get it. This campsite appears remarkably intact. The tents and bedrolls are covered with leaves, but are dry and whole.
Oh, how welcoming.
Seems a little sus to me. Stay on guard.
Let's take a closer look.
The fire pit smokes and possesses embers enough to build into a small flame. There are no signs of any inhabitants.
How odd. A camp with no campers, complete with fire and warm blankets. Rather inviting, would you not?
Your dark-haired companion says with a gleam of suggestion in her eye.
I love you, baby, but this shit is dangerous.
You get no hint of danger, though it strikes you as odd that the camp is abandoned. Perhaps searching the camp will give more clues as to its nature.
Let's check out the bedroll.
Of course.
You examine the bedroll. It looks clean and warm. You feel like you haven't slept in ages. It would be so nice to curl up and sleep.
I feel magic here, draining my strength. We must leave.
Your elderly healer says, exasperated, trying to catch her breath as some force draws her in.
This place doesn't pass the vibe check. I'm out.
You turn away from the bedroll, but only reluctantly. The lure of sleep is almost overpowering.
Damn boys, let's get out of here.
As you turn to leave, you find your steps growing leaden. Fatigue tugs at your limbs and you yawn. It has been a long journey. Perhaps it is safe to rest here.
Perhaps we're being too hasty in leaving. I'm too old for all this running around.
Your elderly healer speaks in a tired, dazed tone, but you find yourself comforted by the words all the same.
Fuck that. I ain't doing this shit.
Well, roll a willpower save, big dog. With a nat 20 on the wisdom save, you use all your strength to push through. As if it were a dream, the vision of the campground dissipates before you as a cold and long dead campsite filled with bones of the many travelers who have been lured here by a shade, which now angrily lunges towards you.
Thank you kindly for that, George. And viewers, hope you liked something a little different today, that Quest is half just reading and has a classic D&D feel to it. So I had to bring our Dungeon Master in to spice things up.
No problem, Obama Llama. Do you know mechanically what was going on there, though I feel like we may have got too engrossed to explain to the viewers?
Good call, George. So viewers, if you're wondering why this encounter didn't end without everyone but Wynn or Morrigan being knocked out, let me explain. This encounter has a hidden point system, like the Land's Meat, where every dialogue option adds or subtracts points. If you fall below 6 points, your party automatically succumbs to the spell and falls asleep, where only the party member with the highest willpower remains awake to fight the shade. However, if you bring Wynn and choose each dialogue option that is cautious and don't interact with more than one object in the campsite, or just leave the campsite after the first cutscene, you get the scene we just witnessed.
Damn, that's really elaborate for a small side quest.
Yeah, this and the Camperin side quest are top tier. Also, don't worry, Obama. I grabbed the Dalish gloves for the unique Zevran gift.
Thank you, Donald. Looks like we have one more errand to take care of before diving into the ruins.
Y'all are going to do a dungeon that sounds hype.
You're damn right, George, but first I have to kill some filthy blood mages. Probably the only mages collective quest I am happy to do in this game.
Anders is really trying to sound threatening here.
So were these dudes having a rave in the forest or some shit?
No, they were doing a forbidden ritual, it looks like. Also important to note for this side quest, that you have to kill the 2 ogres that spawn in this area first, then leave and re-enter this part of the forest for these mages to appear. The game doesn't tell you to do that, so we figured we would.
So George, are you going to be joining us now?
Well, Barry said this area was very D&D-like, so I kind of want to see this location through at least.
Good, it's about time we have another Republican to these debates.
Well, let's move back on to the Werewolfs, boys.
Werewolf. I don't know where's the wolf, Barry.
Good one, Joe. Very funny.
No, seriously, where are the wolves? I don't know what you mean.
No, Joe, not where as in location. I mean werewolf.
Wear this dick on your lips, bitch.
Oh.
Damn, get fucked, trauma.
Y'all only did that because, you know, I don't really care.
Yeah, sure thing, Bozo. Also, damn, these furries want some smoke just for once in this forest. I would like a speech check or something to calm them down.
Well, we could talk to them earlier, but sadly, not here. We are too close to their base. And they got to stand on business and fight us.
Someone should have probably told Fred this didn't work out for Saren last game, and it's not going to work out with his fursona either.
Oddly specific, Byrne. Do you know something we don't, Obama?
Well, we could always ask Bill about that later, preferably one of you. I don't want to be within 10 feet.
What's your beef with Bill anyway, bro? Seems pretty based from my impression, and I never even see either of you interact.
George, you don't have to answer that. And Donald, it's best you don't get into it. It's a long, petty story. And we have to deal with the werewolves first.
I'm going to be real. The werewolf intrigue isn't exactly an amazing payoff for all this yapping Swift Runner does. We already can tell from the first conversation we had they are intelligent. So all this yapping he is doing doesn't have a payoff, really.
Good points, Joe. It also doesn't help that Swift Runner is the main provider of this story's lore, but he's sort of just a meathead that's too angry to convey what's going on. I also have to give some flack to the Lady of the Forest for not stepping in earlier and trying to make some peace.
Looks like we got a 4-on-4 fight now, boys.
Donald, you know, you can end the fight by just focusing Swift Runner, right? You don't have to kill the others?
Hey, if they want to start this fight, I'm for sure goddamn finishing it.
Holy shit, that wolf rolled a nat goddamn 20 to knock you back that hard.
How the hell did Witherfang knock us back that hard? Our dwarf is a full goddamn unit in plate armor.
Massive skill issue.
For real, our little guy has to start hitting the gym again if he's going to be knocked back that hard.
You're the last one that gets to tell our little guy to hit the gym, Donald.
Well, I guess we just have to eat shit for now. Let's just go grab the last piece of the mage's treasure.
The mage's treasure? That sounds sick as hell. What is it? Some spell scrolls, a magical staff, endless mana potions, or a GM to become a lich?
Actually, George, it's a set of heavy plate armor.
How the fuck is that a mage's treasure? Was he multiclassing or some shit?
God damn it, George, you got him started again.
All right, calm your tits. Donald, this lore is pretty interesting. So the tale of the Juggernaut is that it was made by a magister during the Alamari days of Ferelden. The magister Harak made this armor with blood magic for the leader of his armies and his best friend Alaric, which made him invincible in battle. Alaric only died because his lieutenants that were closest to him betrayed and killed him out of jealousy and to elevate their own status. When Harak heard of this betrayal, he killed all of the lieutenants and bound their bodies as revenants to protect the armor, the same revenants that are the bosses we killed. He buried his body with the last piece deep inside the temple out of respect for his friend.
That's what I like to see, always stand on business with your homies.
I love the Brothers in Arms business, but that story sounded just a little sus if you ask me.
Well, I don't know. I certainly would like my friends to have my back like that. It's sweet.
Shocker.
I got you, Barry.
Thank you, Joe.
Why must the dwarves go down first every fight? This game is rigged.
Because two-hander warriors in this game are massively weaker than the far superior sword and shield warriors. They don't tank nearly as well, and their damage is marginal compared to rogues or mages. However, despite those issues, Uncle Ogren is extremely based, and he's rocking literally the strongest sword in the game, so I had to bring him.
I feel like you're mainly saying that because you're a paladin main Donald, but go off queen.
Time for one of the longest slogs of nothing in this game.
Donald, you of all people complaining about a dungeon? I'm shocked. I'm sure there's plenty of fun bosses and puzzles before the epic boss fight and loot. Isn't that like your favorite thing to do? That's why you play Skyrim and Borderlands on repeat.
Well, in theory, George the Dungeon has all of those, but when compared to other dungeons in this game, it feels very lacking. There's really only 2 side quests in this dungeon, and both of which don't really tell much of a story. One has you performing an Elven ritual, which is a puzzle to be fair, but it's only confusing if you don't read the codex first. The other is helping a lost Elven spirit in exchange for an overpowered specialization, which would be cool if we could get lore out of it, but sadly there's almost nothing to say. Also, I think the icing on the cake is the complete lack of enemy variety. It's entirely undead, with 1 spider fight and 2 bosses, both of which are unimpressive.
Spiders.
Oh, right, the arachnophobia, I almost forgot.
Every day we miss an opportunity to laugh our asses off at seeing Joe struggle with spiders. Also, George, none of the viewers spoke up for this dungeon when we asked about their favorite dungeon, so I think that says a lot. But hey, feel free to let us know.
Well, you all certainly know how to make the content sound exciting, bravo.
Sorry, George, you have a point. It's just I feel as if some overseeing editor force and his illogical rage of this dungeon is seeping into the very words we are saying at this very moment.
You know it's meta because there's no goddamn way Donald just used all those big words in the same sentence.
Over to the left, Donald, you can find a secret passage if you give the wall a little tug.
Did someone say tug?
Barry, I told you not to use the T word.
Oh shit, my bad. George, rest in peace.
Don't even fret about that guy, George. We have 2 thicker and better dwarves right in front of us now. With twice the amount of base takes and alcoholism.
You take that back about my beloved goat Tug, bitch. You're not too big to get the old Texas belt either. Tug is the best Age of Dragons character, period. He's better than everyone in your mid-party here.
What did you just say, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in golfing, and I've been involved in numerous secret golf tournaments, and I have over 300 confirmed golfing wins.
What are you even yapping about?
He's pissed that you insulted his waifu, so he's doing a weird mismatch of that Navy SEALs copy pasta. Donald, you're going older on the memes, not younger.
I will murder you all, you maidenless sacks of shit.
Hey Donald, did you know you're about to pass me on boss counters with this fight?
Oh shit, I am. Time to lock in.
And George, we are about to fight a dragon as well.
Oh shit, dragons, I love those things.
Good save, Barry. Also, Donald, you're using my clutch queen Liliana to make this fight easier. Good shit.
Just like you, she can have that 1% of the video where she is useful, and now's the time. This dragon is easy on the surface, but what makes him annoying is he has somehow discovered trap technology and has all 4 skill points in trap making.
Bro is min-maxing dragon style.
Well, dragons in almost every series have intelligence higher than humans, so it would make sense they could use traps to lure their prey. Only issue is how they set it up without thumbs.
Well, we have no idea how intelligent dragons are in this series. George, considering the fact these dragons do not talk, and we have no record of one talking ever. We know the archdemon is intelligent, but he is not a dragon in the toolkit or in lore, so I don't think that counts hard to say if dragons are smart or not. They appear to act like angry beasts normally.
I think if they were intelligent, one of them would have showed it by now. Besides, we have enough creatures in this world that appear monstrous but are intelligent with the dark spawn, werewolves, demons, titans, and so on. We don't really need more beasts coming up and revealing they can do calculus.
Fair enough. Also, George, in classic D&D fashion, we have a proper dragon horde that we can loot in this dungeon. Not the biggest dragon horde in this game, but certainly satisfying.
Epic gamer moment, let's go boys.
Looks like we are maxed out on inventory space. We should probably head back real quick and sell shit before moving on.
Wait, so we killed the dragon and got his horde. Shouldn't we be like almost done with this dungeon now? That was a boss after all?
You would think, George, but we are actually less than a third of the way through the dungeon right now.
Oh, fuck this. I thought we were winding down. Peace.
Well, I guess he showed he ain't a real one, boys.
Can't say I blame him. This map is hell. Hope you have plenty of yaps on the back burner, Obama.
Oh no, guys, it's the Star Child about to give us our writer-mandated 3 endings.
He seems pretty confused. That's something you have in common with him, Joe. The more important the situation, the easier it is for you to space out and ignore everything else time. For Barry to take you by the hand before you summon more of your walking corpse friends.
Eat a dick double D.
Well, looks like we got more corpses anyway. Better get used to it, Donald, since that's the only thing we are going to fight until we reach the werewolves.
I can see why you were so hard to get Topsider's honor, because ever since we left the deep roads, it's been nothing but undead for almost 4 episodes straight.
Right on the money, Donald. Y'all have future sight, and I have game knowledge.
Isn't this basically the hardest fight in this whole mission besides the Revenant's Berry?
It definitely can be. The fact you get teleported in the center by a cutscene and surrounded on all sides, which means your mages and range units get really screwed here, and if you're not tanky enough, you're screwed. Overall, though, the Dalish quest line is the most middle of the road in terms of difficulty. It's not set up to be your first stop like Red Cliff or the Circle, but it doesn't have a huge difficult dungeon like the Deep Roads or Urn quest line.
Wait, how is the Urn quest line difficult?
Those side passages in the cavern with arcane warriors and drakes go hard. Plus there's the High Dragon fight, which even if it's optional, the quest line guides you right to the fight.
Skill issue, but besides that, I see what you mean, Barak. Also, viewers, don't forget to grab the tablet and the win gift in this sarcophagus.
Good shit, Donald. Do you know how to do the ritual?
No, that knowledge, along with the 2020 votes, are both missing.
All right, then. Well, editor put this on the screen for those that need a refresher, but Donald, the order is grab the jug, fill it with water, bring it to the altar, pray to the altar after placing the jug, take a single sip, then bring the jug back to the pool and dump it. Then the ritual will be complete. Also make sure you grab the tablet in the prior room, or otherwise the quest will fail even if you do the steps correctly, because the tablet gives the warden the correct prayer to say, so if they don't have the tablet, they wouldn't know the correct words. All of this is to get the last piece of Juggernaut armor. Also, just to shout out everyone who learned something in these videos, and for those that are restarting Origins because of us, we greatly thank you, and hopefully these videos help you get the best loot in this game.
That's a good shout out, Barak. Viewers, if you're one of the cultured gamers that started playing again because of our playthrough, or even if you're playing along because of us, despite our episodes taking forever to make, just know you all have massive schlongs.
What if they're like the 5% of female viewers?
Especially if they are a female viewer, Joe. And moving on to my point, we are getting ever closer to the end of this series. And of course, the large 20-hour Dragon Age Origins movie, which means when that is posted, you all can have that playing while you do your own playthrough and maybe even follow how we play if you're goated.
I wouldn't go that far, but anything to boost some future viewer potential is a good idea. Thanks, Donald.
You know it, Barak?
Well, good shit, Donald. You did the ritual on your first try, and for once respected another culture in this game.
I don't give a shit about their made-up homeless elven egg gods. I just want that sweet, sweet chest plate.
I mean, fair enough, respect the hustle either way. Also, we got to level up from that. Why don't we go through it? I feel like it's been forever since we've done that.
All right, sure, for old time's sake. Well, we have maxed out strength for Origins, so we are putting 1 point of strength in every level. So we will have 52 strength come Awakening, where we will need it again for armor and abilities. Then 2 in dexterity for the added defense and hit chance. Then we are just going to keep putting skill points in the Templar specialization so we can get that Holy Smite at 1 point.
Masiranas Maithal Elganan bathroom?
Joe, did you just have a stroke?
I'm trying to talk to her in her native language.
Well, Joe, that's not going to work. Ignoring the fact you spoke straight gibberish, we don't even know if she's speaking Elvish, her model is actually human. And diving into the developer's tool, we can see an extended script describing not what she is saying, but that she is thousands of years old and calling out to a god long gone, and that she attacks out of confusion, not anger.
Well, wait, isn't she the mom of that Elven kid from earlier?
That's a popular assumption, but there's only circumstantial evidence supporting it.
Well, simple ghost fight finished and last armor piece acquired. Who do we want to put it on? Because our little guy's armor is perfect, Ogren's is perfect, and Alistair is going to get Callian's armor, so that leaves Sten, right?
Actually, I had something else in mind. I think we can give Sten Wade's Dragonbone plate. Then what if we gave Wynn the Arcane Warrior specialization and throw the armor on her, since it's magical armor anyway? And I think it's perfect for an Arcane Warrior.
Ooh, I second that.
Fine, whatever. I don't even care about Wynn anyway. Let's just finish up the last side quest in this ruin.
So I never understood the logic here. This elf literally and willingly allowed himself to be captured into a phylactery. What the hell was the elf thinking?
Well, the elves and humans who were fighting each other were attacked by some sort of mysterious being that was not human or elven. I saw some theories that this may have been caused by the Titans, but no hard proof of that. So it could have just been demons. This spirit panicked and sealed themselves away in a phylactery, hoping a survivor would free them.
Unfortunately, all of his ancient elf buddies had a skill issue. Is there any lore on the arcane warriors themselves?
Not as much as you would think, considering how popular this specialization is. Most of what we learn is what the gem here tells us and what we see in game. Solace does elaborate further on the arcane warrior's power and role in society, with a convenient lore drop, however.
I'll only allow it because I will be able to vent my frustration out on the eggs shortly.
Dad, pick me up, I'm scared.
Well, Solace refers to the arcane warriors as a living embodiment of pure will. Using their connection to the Fade to make their body a weapon, the arcane warriors were Elven elite guardsmen, serving as bodyguards or champions for ancient Elven nobles. Likely, these nobles were the same ones who would go into periods of Uthanera, and the arcane warriors were tasked with guarding their sleeping bodies. We also know that the ancient battle of the elves and the Tevinter Imperium, fought at Sunder Mount, was fought with the arcane warriors making their last stand against the Imperium at the peak of the mountain, which is why the veil is so thin in Sunder Mount. Also, the Knight Enchanter specialization that the Circle teaches and offers in Inquisition is based entirely off arcane warriors.
Oh shit, I almost forgot about that specialization. I definitely would have that one tied with Rift Mage and Dragon Age 2 if I really thought about it. They are both extremely powerful and goated. Both of them have time abilities too.
I like how you can be a total dick and grab the specialization, then just be like, JK, nah, I ain't doing all that, and betray the spirit.
Y'all think he just goes into oblivion, or do you think he goes to the Fade since he had such a strong connection to the Fade as an arcane warrior?
Hard to say, but I like to think he can rejoin his former ancient elves in the Fade by placing him on that ancient elven altar. Something tells me we may never truly learn what happens to someone when they die in the Dragon Age series. Well, let's get through some of the last few slogs in this ruin.
Holy shit, this ruin is goddamn Trap City. There's more traps here than a Astolfo convention.
No one is gonna get that Astolfo reference, you damn weeb. Also, pro tip for the elite gamers among our viewers, you don't need to finish the trap disarm animation for every trap. As soon as your rogue bends down and starts the disarming animation, you can move on to do the same with another trap, which is what you're about to see me do for half this fight.
Oh God, please give me a content warning if you're going to talk about Liliana bending over. I'm completely bricked up right now.
You're not supposed to need a content warning, you predator-looking ass.
Jesus Christ. Well, good tip, Donald. I can't believe it took us that long to talk about it. We have been doing it all playthrough while we are on the topic of trap disarming. We should mention how it works build-wise. So every point of device mastery gives you +10 to trap disarming. And every point of cunning on a rogue gives you +1 to disarming. The highest level traps in the game need 70 points to disarm. So you need either all 4 points of device mastery and 30 cunning to disarm and unlock everything, or you need 60 cunning and 1 point of device mastery. For Origins, it's always worth it to just fully upgrade device mastery, since it's unlikely you will reach 60 cunning before you get to level 20. And by then the game is over and you will have to backtrack to every map to unlock everything you need.
All right, nerd, I will bite if cunning is key to disarming and unlocking. Which is better, high dex or high cunning on a rogue?
Are you actually considering expanding your class usage?
Silence, Mageling, I just want to know how best to build party members.
Well, both can be absolute beasts and can solo the game as long as you have enough poisons and salves. However, I would say for a dual-wield rogue, pure dexterity is better, as even if you do slightly less damage than pure cunning, the high dexterity gives you far more defense and higher hit chance, making you all around more solid. However, if you're a rogue archer, then high cunning and lethality is the way to go, since archers hit slower and don't have to worry about defense nearly as much, since you're ranged.
Well, there you go, viewers. Now you know how to build Zevran versus Liliana. Although why anyone would take Zevran over my Bardic Queen is beyond me.
Simp.
Well, always happy to educate the viewers. Also, Jesus, I literally forgot about this boss here. We are now on boss 4. This episode, things are looking good on the Donald boss counter.
And I still have the final boss to go, which means I will be in the lead with 15 bosses this episode. Dominant Donald in Inquisition stays on top.
First off, just because one viewer called you Dominant Donald doesn't mean that's your new title. And secondly, we should all have about 2 episodes each left. So the final counter isn't over yet.
I will say, Donald, having 2 episodes where you got 5 bosses each is crazy work. I'm going to have to put in major work. My next 2 episodes, you're certainly making it competitive, big dog. Also, Donald, you're not supposed to fight this guy in melee range. He has a mechanic where if you hit him once in melee, he teleports to a different side of the map. Realistically, the ideal strat is for everyone to pull out ranged weapons and whittle him down.
I think you mean the strat for cowards, Barack. This bitch can fart as many electrical storms as he wants. Dwarves are immune to magic, but he's not immune to getting double-teamed.
Phrasing, please. Well, I think you might really like the gloves that this boss drops. The Ashen gloves give the user 20% more cold damage, which is the strongest pair of gloves you can have for cold damage. So I think us and all the viewers know who you are going to put it on.
Oh, my beloved wife, I have a present for you. Perhaps with this Tier 3 gift, you will finally deem me worthy to put our Minecraft beds together once more.
Yet I'm the bad one, boys. Also, how much additional cold damage are we up to now? We have 2 rings, Morrigan's robes, the staff, and now the gloves.
Well, at the risk of being called Nerd Bama, we are up to 75% bonus cold damage, probably the highest amount of a single element damage we can get until awakening. Also, going to the side passage here, we can get a gift for Ogren.
Time to take a little dive, boys.
What even is this scene? Does every werewolf have to go down this weird pool before entering, and do we just kind of sink to the bottom and drown like we are entering? The shadow fell in Baldur's Gate 3.
I thought that scene in Baldur's Gate felt familiar also, Donald. I should warn you, this fight is pretty difficult. Topsider's honor isn't going to help us here, and the dogs now have.
Oh, what it's going to be difficult like that dumb boss from earlier? Settle down and let Daddy cook its just dogs, Barack. Even if they have stealth tactics, we already know. We have the perfect anti-stealth ability, Waking Nightmare. One throw of that, and these guys will tear each other apart, and then we can blizzard the other room to finish them off.
My future sight is detecting a death in your future, Donald. My stand, its Jover, isn't even needed. These wolves are about to go absolutely ham.
Okay, our dwarves might be pinned, but I've learned from the mage hideout, our grenades are more than enough to take out hordes, and our spell list is still overpowered enough to handle this. I will drop asleep to hold them off while we take them out one by one.
The second Ogren gets clapped up, and he will since he has more dogs on top of him. Then a white girl on TikTok, those not-so-good boys, are going to flood into the room and clap up Morrigan specifically.
Oh fuck, why are the dogs focusing my wife first?
Massive skill issue. You have been flinging high-level spell after high-level spell. Your aggro level has been raising higher than the price of rent. Your waifu's life view is over.
Does that count as political content? Either way, Donald, you're fine. You have the clutch queen Liliana herself, and as long as she has grenades, she can deal enough damage to finish this up.
Morrigan, no. This fight is more rigged than the goddamn election. Why is my waifu always the one who dies first? I'm positive Joe's stand is conspiring against me.
Again, magic generates a huge amount of threat. And aggro, don't go all recency bias on me, Donald.
Well, you can recency buy my ass in your mouth, bitch. I'm still gonna clutch this, only a few doggos left. And apparently max level Warcry can knock these assholes out of stealth too, so keep that high level gameplay in mind, viewers.
I guess he did it. Not the cleanest fight we have had, but at least he did it deathless good shit. Now what did we learn?
I learned these doggos have more numbers than I thought, and I think it's time we keep that in mind going forward.
Not what I was going for, but... Oh, wait, why did that sound so ominous?
Don't worry about it. Time to move on to the peak of this main quest.
Well, here we have the other Mark Meer voice. Of course, he is still voice acting in the same main quest, just for the other side. He really said, I will only voice act elves and nothing else.
These guys really said, oh, we didn't think you got it like that to get this far. Want to like talk now or something? Out of curiosity, what happens if we just kill this gatekeeper now? Does it lock us into killing all of them?
No, it just changes the start of the conversation with the Lady of the Forest. The next cutscene still plays out when we first enter the next room.
One of the rare moments our choice doesn't really matter. I feel like killing Commander Shepard here should lock us out of working with the werewolves.
On one hand, I agree that would have been impactful, but on the other side of things, the Lady of the Forest really wants to try to resolve things peacefully, so it makes sense.
I mean, this scene is literally the pivotal moment in the quest, just the same as the Caradin scene, so it would be a massive loss to miss out on it if you went full murder hobo.
Devotion to his spirit goddess is so hard, he breaks the rules of the Fade and threatens to pull up as a ghost to beat our ass.
There's a lot of missed loot in the rooms next to the gatekeeper, but we can grab it after we are done with the reveal.
Viewers, what opinion do you have that has the internet coming at you like these furries here?
You know, realistically, this looks like a complete trap. The only reason our little guy shouldn't be turning around or airing this shit out is because we fought a larger horde of these guys in the previous room.
Mommy? Sorry, Mommy.
Sorry, Mommy.
Y'all folded as fast as the furries did. All men really do be dogs.
I don't know about that, but I got that dog in him. She's literally a hot monster girl that's completely naked.
We should have gotten a few 18-plus mods for this scene. I mean, she's literally the Desire Demon model, but green and way hotter and more human-like.
You both need a freezing cold shower. Have you seen her hands? That is Splinter City. You're looking at surgery and thousands of dollars in the hospital.
Worth it?
Just give her some gloves, it would be perfect.
Y'all might actually be more down bad than the werewolves. And they are literally 2 steps away from being actual dogs.
Swift Runner stays being an op. He's going to use every sentence he can in this convo to threaten us and be a meathead.
I mean, it fits his character. Bro just loves his anime monster girlfriend. Can't say I blame him.
Okay, valid, carry on, big dog.
Nice pun, Joe. Very cool.
So this is where we all drop our weapons and give a friendship speech, right?
I apologize on Swift Runner's behalf. He struggles.
They struggle with the nature of the beast.
Good line drop, Barry.
You can't trust a homeless egg, boys. We should have learned our lesson in this game, so we had the option to curb stomp Solace in the tutorial.
Well, time for our daily reminder that this is a dark fantasy game.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I'm starting to see what you were talking about earlier this episode. What is the deal with every human's first instinct seeing an elf woman is doing that?
Dragon Age tried to not have a apostate lie to us about crucial information. Challenge impossible.
Apostates and lies go together like egg-shaped elves and wolves, I guess.
Just like dwarves and beer or elves and oppression.
A tribe of humans live close to this forest.
Perfect view, cameraman.
Donald, please.
Sorry, trying to ease the tension here. This story's pretty messed up.
Son and daughter he loved greatly. And while out hunting, the human tribe captured them both.
The humans tortured the boy, killed him. The girl they raped and left for dead. The Dalish found her, but she learned later she was with child. She killed herself.
All right, I'm going to start off by saying what we are all thinking. All 3 of us are fathers of daughters here, and if some piece of trash did that to her, what we would have done would have made what Zathrin did seem like a mercy. He's 100% in the right for that.
Absolutely.
Now that being said, cursing the pieces of trash and making it so their great-grandchildren and random bystanders are also bearing a painful, life-changing curse is absolutely insane. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He should have just put all of the original bandits in a death loop from part 5 of JoJo.
Yeah, if what they are saying is true, everyone who did that to his family died from the curse centuries ago. So now he just has a curse that affects everyone it comes in contact with. Like it's not even just the descendants Danelia proved, it's anyone who gets attacked by a werewolf.
Important to note, she is lying here about not summoning Witherfang. In case it wasn't obvious, she is Witherfang herself. It's just she can change forms.
I like a girl with multiple personalities.
That's blatantly obvious by your romance choices, Joe, also. I wonder how many people auto-side with the Lady of the Forest because of her apparent charms. I mean, I know she's the good option, but I wonder if people care about the morality or they care about helping the baddie over the balding old man.
I mean, it's BioWare fans we are talking about. I think we know the answer to that one already.
I just realized that the spirit of the forest is another spirit that doesn't fall into the normal categories that Origins set up. Honestly, given what we learn about spirits and rituals from the Solace Quest and Inquisition, I think it's more than likely she became the spirit of the forest because of Zathrin's ritual.
I know you're all about peace and love, girl, but you are putting way too much faith in Zathrin here especially for someone who has lived hundreds of years and has never changed his mind about this decision.
Well, it's time for the classic end of quest moral decision again, boys. How are we going to play this?
Surely he will agree to end the curse.
These damn elves need to learn how to get better at the cycle of revenge. I have made up my mind on this.
So what's the end game decision, Donald? You going to bring Zathrin here to negotiate a cure?
Barack, I made it very clear I don't negotiate with terrorists. We need a show of force.
Wait, you're going to side with Zathrin?
Why the hell would I side with a filthy egg-shaped apostate? Just because he has better drip than Solace doesn't mean I hate him any less. It's time to show how a renegade negotiates.
Oh, shit.
Donald, you can't be serious, Linnea. Commander Shepard and Gaina don't deserve this.
I'm taking the fight to the Dalish, every single one of them, and not just the men, but the women
So
and
do
children,
I.
too.
Calm down, Hayden Christensen.
Donald, this is a top-tier hate crime. I hope you know that.
It's not a hate crime. I have elven friends.
The elven friend in question,
Joe, how the hell did you summon Fenris on the screen?
don't worry about it, Barry. I got people for that.
Well, this decision is going to leave a bad taste in my mouth, but it's certainly the road less traveled.
They are weak with the curse. Let us leave him no choice but to break it. Break it or die.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
How many Star Wars references are we going to shove into this video, and how haven't we done an Ewok joke yet? It's perfect for this quest.
Catherine will be our greatest foe. Leave him to me.
And we attack.
All right, if I could give some roleplay reasons to defend myself here, I would like to.
I assume your fat ass just assumes renegade options are candy. But go off, Queen.
Hurtful anyway. If you look at things logically here, we did not come to this camp to solve a centuries-old dispute between humans and elves. We came here for an army choice. And when we showed up, the werewolves were clearly winning this fight. If the Dalish could have beaten the werewolves on their own, they would have done it already. So why not grab the stronger choice? Also, why should we politely ask someone who lied to us and treated us like shit to cure the curse? We are giving him one chance to end it, or watch his entire clan that he is supposed to protect get wiped out.
All right, that's a pretty good point. Yeah, curing the curse is better for everyone and is a pretty good scene, but you made a good point. Also, Zathrin looks pretty bad here. He's supposed to protect his clan above all else, and he could have easily ended the curse himself here and saved everyone, but he didn't either, because he doesn't want to die, or because he truly hates humans more than he loves his clan.
That might have been a good point, but I still hate everything we are doing here. Even if Zathrin sucks, everyone else here deserves to live. And the werewolves could have been free from this curse.
They can be free after the furries get a few good bites out of the archdemon Joe anyways. This is where the fun begins.
Well, as little sense as it makes, this is the easier of the two ways to fight Zathrin, while he has the same spells as if we fought him in the werewolf lair. In the lair, he has two Sylvans instead of the Dalish that are far tankier and have crowd control. The most the Dalish in this camp can do is cast a scatter shot before they die, since every single one of them can be taken out in 2 hits besides Zathrin, and a lot of them don't fight back. Also, in the camp fight, we get to fight with a large werewolf squad, including Swift Runner and Witherfang, who can't be killed, where, as in the werewolf lair, we have to fight entirely by ourselves.
Zathrin can be taken out with a single mana clash, though just like the Hermit, so it's not an insanely hard fight either way. Also, did you seriously take Gainus first time only to come back a few hours later and slaughter her and all her family? What kind of Ted Bundy grind are you on, Donald?
On the bright side, Morrigan doesn't have to be jealous of her anymore, so I see that as a win.
Well, Zathrin didn't get to do much thanks to the Templar specialization. Now we just have to run out and finish the innocent bystanders. Doesn't look like Linnea would have made such a great keeper after all, if she can't even try to fight back when her clan's attacked.
I noticed there's no music playing. Is that a glitch?
Could be, but honestly, the no music is fitting. It's leaving us alone to contemplate our renegade actions, instead of jamming out to some orchestra.
I regret nothing.
I like to think they filled this camp with so many weak units, so that it's more impactful running up and killing them all one by one, like they aren't even fighting back anymore. No music here is appropriate.
Well, there's definitely an important lesson here about how the cycle of revenge benefits no one in the end.
A terrible tragedy has befallen all of Elvenkind.
Hey, look at the bright side, Joe. At least the Lady of the Forest stays around, and we can look at her anytime we want.
Oh, now that I think about it, the werewolf ending might be the good ending.
Well, we can't go back now, so the only path is forward. The Dalish are wiped out. And we now have our last army recruited. Sure, we still have to cure Aemon, but our army is still guaranteed. We are now just 2 steps away from killing the archdemon and ending the blight.
Bars.
Werewolves, dwarves, humans, and mages. If you 2 liberals weren't cowards, we could have had Templars and golems to create the biggest back army to ever exist.
Amazing. All it would take is 1 ranged unit and that army would be cooked.
You just don't see the vision like I do.
Well, either way, I'm certain that spreading the werewolf curse around to create an army will have no negative consequences down the line. I'm sure we are going to be just fine.
Exactly. Don't worry about it, Barack. I'm sure everything will be fine.
The cope is insane.
Also with this choice, our allies for the final battle with the archdemon are locked in. On the PC version, at least, we can recruit certain allies by making certain decisions throughout the main quest. These allies will appear at the top of Fort Drakon when we fight the archdemon to make the battle seem more grand in scale. Arl Eamon always joins the fight. Either Irving or Gregor will join, depending on what army you chose. Cardall joins if you persuade the Legion of the Dead to join the fight, and finally Zathrin or Swift Runner will join, depending on who you side with. If you choose to cure the curse, then neither will obviously join, since they both would not be able to fight.
Wait, hang on, who is this girl? She looks familiar.
She was the camp guard who stopped our warden when we first arrived in the forest, Joe.
Well, how the hell was she not in the attack if she's the damn entrance guard?
I guess she was on a smoke break. I'll let this one go. We got our army either way.
I'll let this one go is crazy work.
Yes, and be sure to tell all the Dalish that it was the egg-shaped mage's fault. That ought to delay any of them from trusting Solace a few years later.
Well, with the Dalish wiped out, I guess it's time to wrap this episode up. Genocide aside, good gameplay today, Donald.
Next time, viewers, I'm going to hit up our last DLC, Return to Ostagar. It's time for some get back against the Darkspawn, like I mentioned in episode 3.
Time to prove that the Tower of Ishal Ogre was just a fluke. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your comment question on what enemy unit you want to see returned in Veilguard. Our editor will respond to every comment as normal. Make sure to like the video to thumb Joe's ass and subscribe so you know what Dragon Age content we are releasing next. But for now, stay safe. Trump out.